Chelsea then take the 3 points, maybe not in quite the dominating fashion we were expecting. Frank, I'm hearing you're desperate to talk about this game.
Yeah, sure, I am. But I don't want to be more hated than Craig by the Chelsea fans. So I would say 3 wins in 3 games. That's not too bad. But yeah, you know, I don't understand Maresca. Is what I was saying about when we were talking about Manchester against Arsenal. But why did he change his tactic? It was working in the first half of the season. After that he saw in the preseason that he couldn't play the way he's now playing. I don't get it. It's so slow. So maybe because Cole Palmer is not the Palmer that we saw before, that maybe they don't have the leadership. But I think he has the material, the individuals to go back to that more vertical game, which was quite successful for Chelsea. So after that, you know, I want to call somebody, because I was very harsh, not maybe hard on him, like 2 years ago, but Cucurella. Cuckoo the Saver. I call him Cuckoo the Saver. The guy scored 4 goals or 3 goals since January, made 2 assists. He became my idol. I mean, that guy is amazing. Defensively, offensively, Cuckoo the Saver. I love you. But the others, I mean, everybody has to work harder. Come on, guys. Go back to your basics. Go back to where you were when you were winning games, not wondering too much, not trying to get the position. And it's, in the contrary, it's very funny because they keep the ball when it's useless. And when they had to keep the ball the last 10, 15 minutes, Chelsea had 20% of the possession of the ball. So they were completely lost against Leicester, with all due respect. So it doesn't go right. So they won 3 games. Craig Burley is still the most hated person, former player in the studio. Yeah. But I'm not very happy.
Okay. And what do you make of the Sancho dive? Well, not dive, but the way he won the penalty, Frank.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that stepping on somebody's foot was a foul. You know, I mean, that was very light for me. That was very, very light. And I'm sad for Cole Palmer because he needs to go back to who he was, and because he deserved to be that, and because he's a fantastic player. But yeah, for me, on Sancho, it's not really a foul. That was very light.
Not like the old days, is it?
Nothing's like the old days, Craig. No.
Somebody trod big stud into your foot, you just shrug it off.
Oh, yes.
Even bat an eyelid.
Oh, when players are real men. Craig, you were focused on this game for us.
The possession doesn't tell the story. Another chaotic performance from Tottenham. You saw the start of the game when Romero gave it away. Bournemouth should have had this game dead and buried. They were much the better side. They were super organised. Kepa sort of let them back in it to an extent with a penalty. I think the Papi Sarr goal was a fluke. But Tottenham ground out a result. Areola will be on that bus or however they come back to Bournemouth thinking, you know, we really should have just hammered that nail all the way down. And that's how it felt. They've given up the points. And you give Tottenham a bit of credit for hanging in there. But it just feels to me that all that sparkle that they had when Postecoglou first came in, it's not just fizzling away, it's just gone. You know,
the magic's worn off, yeah.
The magic is well and truly over, because when you watch the game, particularly at their home stadium, the crowd was so behind what they were trying to do because of the pace they were playing at. And even when it wasn't quite happening, it was like, this is entertaining, this is edge of the seat stuff. And yeah, the defensive side of it was sort of negligible, but it was just super fun. All that has gone, but the defensive aspect is still as bad. And to me, it feels like Daniel Levy is waiting on this Europa Conference game on Thursday, and that he's hanging Postecoglou's hat on that.
Right.
And I honestly...
They're 1-0 down, obviously.
They're 1-0 down. They have got Romero back. They have got Van de Ven back, who come on for half an hour. So they've got some of the big hitters back who will probably play. Both of those centre-halves will probably play on Thursday. It just feels like if they go out that competition with all the sort of Premier League performances, personally, I think he'll pull the trigger. I really do. And you might say, well, why is it taking, you know, a potential run all the way in the conference or a defeat? Why? That's how chief execs and ownership and, you know, big wigs that make decisions. It's kind of how they run. It's how they operate. They wait and see if there's something that, maybe we'll go all the way, maybe something tangible. But I do get the feeling, again, the way they've been playing, that if they go out to AZ Alkmaar, then I think Postecoglou will be gone. And to be honest with you, I don't think he can have too many complaints.
What about Bournemouth's chances of then qualifying for the Champions League? Let's take a look. Remember, it is the top 5. No one seems to want to do it because everyone keeps dropping points left, right and centre. You can see what that win for Bournemouth would have meant for them. They'd moved up to level on points with Brighton on a good run at the moment. Ironically, Brighton quite outsiders. The bookies think it will be City, Chelsea and Forest who will make it into the top 5. Sorry, I need more enthusiasm because the title's over. So the top 5 is the exciting bit now in the Premier League, Frank. Get excited.
Yeah, so I can try, but it's not over. You know, Bournemouth, Brighton, Aston Villa, they can hope on some failure, which we have seen a lot, you know, lately from other clubs. So it's still an open race, and yeah, of course, I would be delighted to see Chelsea in the first 5, which I doubt about that like two weeks ago. But it's possible, but it's possible for any other club. And let's see how it works. Even Newcastle, I forgot, could go there too. And I don't want to forget it because the mayor of Newcastle is in the studio. But yeah, it's a beautiful race. It's maybe the only interesting race because on the top, yeah, but on the top it's already given. At the back, at the bottom, it's already given. The only thing interesting is that race.
Yeah, isn't it? It's the Shaka Bowl, of course, tomorrow. Newcastle against West Ham.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
And if Newcastle win that, all of a sudden
The
they join Manchester City.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful race to Frank's doom.
Right.
I think the challenge here in making these predictions
Is making this interesting?
Well, that too, because anybody can beat anybody.
Well, thank God. I tell you what, I'm going to be a bit corporate here. Thank God we've got La Liga.
Oh, yes, indeed.
The Premier League's over. The Bundesliga's over. Oh, we've got that. It's over.
Yes.
Ligue 1's over. I've never watched that anyway.
There we go.
Serie A. And, you know, the La Liga title is at least a 3-team race.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yep.
it's a place to be.
It is.
Now, whoever gets in the top 4 or 5, well, you know, whatever.
There we are.
Whatever.
That's what.
That
How many matches
that
left
sums
to
it
go
up.
in the Premier League? Still a lot.
Good luck selling that.
Oh, boy.